Hey, good morning, welcome. As you can see, today we're having big fun. So this used to be a newsroom. Drew, if you want to take a look around, it's no longer. So once again, just tearing out stuff that I don't believe this building was built in 1958. I'm actually not sure, but it's definitely older than me. So what we've got is some wire lath walls, and actually the center walls are still that 4-inch concrete block that we started with on the other side. So I think you guys met Chris Conover. Hey, Chris. Sure. Chris was the first interview in the very beginning. So what's this beast called?
This is called a dingo.
This is a dingo. So this is a tracked jackhammer that'll be able to jackhammer vertically and vertically for us so that we don't have to hold up the jackhammer. So this is from a company called Badger Rentals here in Pooler. Just some great people. Fire that sucker up, Chris. Let's see what happens. What we're taking down is pretty stout. I'm going to just throw this on the floor, Drew. Ready? So that machine makes his work a little bit smarter, not a little bit harder. So Chris is going to take down these old, and this is a mud bed tiled bathroom. Believe it or not, those walls could actually hold water. They were so stout. And hey, we've got 3 different dumpsters going today. So one dumpster is for concrete rubble. One dumpster is just for the general demolition materials. And then over here we've got it's actually a triple axle dump trailer. And we're segregating out all the metal so that can be recycled. And then actually the wire we're trying to keep apart over here because the wire is a different recycling. So we've got the wire here, and then these are the only 2 things that we thought had any real value. They're wall-mounted toilets, and we're going to donate those to Habitat for Humanity if they'll take them. We're really not sure. They're not a very popular item, but they're a few $100s if they can sell them. So, all right, and now we're going to head over into the interior of the main building, and we're getting ready for finishes. So these are actually the original concrete block walls, which is just amazing. And we're going to skim them with a little bit of drywall mud. You can see it in progress over here. This was from one of the very early stages. The block wall remains because we didn't want the guy knocking down these walls because these walls stay. Over here we've got a brand new electrical panel that's been installed, and it's much bigger than the one that was in place. So we had to open it up a little bit. We're going to slide 1/4-inch drywall over this wall in order to make it a nice finish. But as you come down here, I think you can really see things starting to take shape. So come on down, we'll go visit the ladies' room. So the tile setters have been busy, and the tile is in place. So a couple of little minor pieces, but we're waiting on a little bit of bullnose. And as you can see, they've 45'd this outside joint, and then they will get the mortar bed up there. Just a beautiful product, 24 by 24 on the floor, a 12 by 24 on the wall, with a contrasting color for the bullnose. So just a real sharp looking product. All right, we'll come right back. We'll be over on the other side in the men's room. So here you can kind of see the original terrazzo from 1958. The 12 by 24 floor tile in the foyer, and then it's a 24 by 24 tile here in the men's room. So, you know, so it's a pretty you know, there were tons of tile that went up here. So just a whole different look from what we started with. So big, clean, modern, and ready for the plumbing fixtures will be delivered today. And the toilet petitions should be delivered tomorrow. And then the specialty items, grab bars, trash barrels, and things delivered the next day. So getting close to the end to a final inspection and being able to turn this first phase of phase 1 over. Come on out, we'll check out the hall. So out here, a little bit different. You know, the tile's laid vertically. It is a high gloss tile on the walls. Beautiful, beautiful product. And then the same tile, 12 by 24 on the floors, but in a matte finish so that people won't slip and fall. But if you get a shot down it, you can really see the gloss on the walls. And then each one of the blue accent walls will house a TV monitor. So things will really start to come together, and it really defines the foyer. And then one of the changes that we made, you know, and we've talked about how things do change during construction, is that we've moved this door back 3 feet. So the original door was right here, and the door would open out into the waiting area, and it just seemed to make a lot of sense to be able to move it back here. The reason why the door wasn't there originally was this was a glass wall, if you remember, and these 2 walls have been replaced as solid walls. So this is Mark Hefner's office, the general manager, and this was actually in phase 2, but it kind of grew into phase 1 so that we could get the flooring in place. And then we'll put in the storefront glass door here. Mark gets a nice 3-foot storefront door with a 2-foot side light, so he'll have plenty of glass. And then if you notice, we've got basically a light shelf in here, and the ceiling at the out in the front, when we get out here, we're looking at a ceiling height of, so that ceiling height is 9 foot 8 inches. And if you look up here where my laser is, that's just high enough for the frame to show. Unfortunately, we can't maintain that ceiling height because of these bar joists. So we built this soffit. This will allow us to put a lower ceiling. The ceiling will actually end up right about here. And then that'll be a suspended ceiling that goes through in here. So a bunch of different things going on. If you remember from before, there was a bunch of surface mounted things here. We've recessed all this into the wall. We've actually laminated drywall, or just glued drywall directly to this block up here, which works out really well. And then we're going to drop some new cans in this area. So this is the general manager's office, and it's a bit of a hybrid at this point just because it was in phase 2, it jumped into phase 1. So we have ordered the glass, the doors and the door and window for them, but they're a little bit behind because they originally were scheduled for phase 3. So you know, there's a good amount of give and take in this process, and it's just been a pleasure to work with WSAV, and they understand that sometimes working in a building built in 1958, that things, you know, there is the necessity of change. So I think the greatest ability right now is flexibility. All right, well, that's it. We'll look for you next week, and we'll have a bunch to show you up in the news annex.